for people who know people who have served, I hope they get a shared experience of what it's like to be in combat, and there's an understanding that can help bridge some of that gap. And for people that don't know anybody, I just hope people understand what it's like to be in a war. Simple as that. So next time they see a vet from any war, you go back, any war in any generation, from any century really, it's war is timeless. So the only thing that changes is the technology. So
I also think too that we don't pretend that this is the definitive movie about the war in Iraq. In fact, I often say, and it's not even a catchphrase, this movie doesn't have any answers. I just hope that people see it and it generates discussion. It gets people just to take 93 minutes out of their lives and stop, see this film, and talk about what's going on, whatever political view you're in. Just talk about what's happening out there and what's happening to the men and women who are coming back. And it's really that basic, and hopefully maybe we can all kind of just get a little bit of a better picture of what everything that's happening. I also think, too, that our film is about the invasion. All the other films have been about the occupation. This is the only film that's been done. A Generation Kill was an HBO miniseries, so that covered this. So me personally, I think looking back and seeing how we went in and a lot of what happened in 2003 might explain why we are where we are today. And if that kind of thing can come out, I think that would be great. And also, just on a whole other point, is this wasn't a filmmaker embedded with these guys. This isn't a journalist embedded with these guys. This wasn't me calling up Mike and saying, here's a camera, let me email you. What I think makes this film really special is what you're seeing is what these guys saw in their viewfinder. And I think that that's just, something unique and a totally different perspective from what we've been able to see so far. And I think that's really important in terms of what people get out of this film.
Is there a webpage where people like us can comment on the film?
Oh, yeah.
That might help you?
www.severeclearthemovie.com. It tells you everything.
yeah, you can. There's gonna. I don't know if it's up yet, but there'll be a spot for comments and people to
Demand the
tell us
film.
about.
Your experience.
Tell us about your.
In fact, the new trailer is another shameless plug. Just went up on Hulu today. So the new poster art and the final trailer and all that, and we have our press day on Tuesday. So hopefully the New York Times likes it. That's big for us. So we'll see.
Have you guys using Facebook to try to promote it?
We have. There's a Facebook page. It's probably got close to 2,000 fans on it. I view social networking sites as, I think I mentioned this morning, what you need to do is use social networking as a way to penetrate pre-existing networks that are out there. For instance, find veterans. Veterans like this movie. Marines like this movie. So you have your own personal, network of people that you know from personal relationships, but that exhausts itself very quickly. So you need to reach out into, the organizations where your film will resonate. So that's what we're attempting to do.
It's also an interesting time for filmmakers because this is, I jokingly say this, we're going to see what happens because we literally are opening, and I'm not a huge fan of Twitter and stuff, but the publicists say do it because people care. We're going to find out. Like you said, a lot of people who say, oh, this sounds like a great movie, will show up, but there's a huge difference between, saying this sounds interesting and getting people in the theater. So I'm as interested as anybody else about Facebook and how that's going to change the face of movie marketing and how people, how we get people to see our movies. Anybody else?
My close friends in Iraq right now, what can they do to cheer them up?
Best thing to say to him is that just let him know that you and his friends are all thinking about him. Believe it or not, that's the hardest parts for me of this film, or anything that has to do with either that connects me back home. So like the New England scene or getting on the plane, for me personally, they're the two hardest parts of the film. So it's easy to kind of segregate your brain and focus on the mission at hand. That's, for people, for troops that are over there, to know that people are thinking about them. It's just, that's my personal opinion, but it helps, and it's one of the things that I think is tough dealing with coming back as a veteran is that, all these heroic acts are being done on a daily basis over there. People are taking, risks that could could lead to them being killed or maimed on a daily basis. And then you come back here, and all that's in the background, way in the background. You know, it's a news article here or there. It's not really topics of discussion that much. It's not part of the kind of the public's conscience, as I imagine like World War II would have been, right? So that is really difficult to deal with. So I just think letting your buddy know that you're thinking about him, tell him to come home safe, ask him if he needs anything. You know, maybe send him a little booze hidden in like a Scope bottle or something. You might like that. So.
Texting that.
I guarantee you'll enjoy it.
So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it.